I think we're good. I think we've cleared the music. We're welcome back to Move Those Belts. I am your host, Joe, and I am joined by my co-host, Justin. Hi, Justin.
Hey, Joe. This is Justin.
How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Long day, but I'm excited because it's over. I'm with my buddy. I'm with my buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my buddies. They're hops. It's a beer.
They're hops. Yep, it's a beer.
0% THC.
We are live right now on Twitch.
Let's go.
Twitch.tv.
How you doing?
/ Move Those Belts.
The downside to being on Twitch is we don't have Twitch chat here.
See, I have it right here.
Oh, you do?
So
I don't.
I can actually see it right now.
Okay.
So
we had some people chatting with us last week, and
I know.
we apologize. We had no idea.
We missed it.
Every week is a learning week.
This is going to be cut out for all the people that, will listen to it recorded, but
the millions.
for those that listen to it live, the millions and millions. Anyways, I can't shout.
You guys are getting the raw version of it, the real raw deal.
The real raw deal of it all.
That's why they call us the Raw Tag Team Champions, right? They call us that?
That's it. That's what they call us.
They call us that. They call us that. They're like, oh, here comes the Raw Tag Team Champions. Why do they call them that? Because they give it to you raw. Just.
Yep.
That's
do. It.
They do.
So, today, our topic is the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. Okay, and I know that we've typically been doing kind of these recaps of the entire shows, but what
happened
we wanted
on SmackDown? What happened on Raw?
Yeah, something a little bit more targeted, because the main topic right now is obviously the King and Queen of the Ring. That's what most of the matches are surrounding right now. So, Justin, what is the King and Queen of the Ring?
Joe, I'm so glad you asked. So, I've done some slight research into the topic, and maybe we learned some things, maybe we learned nothing. Maybe you all realize that I just dove down Wikipedia. I didn't just do that, by the way. I did a lot of clicking.
Mm-hmm.
The King and the Queen, we'll get to the Queen portion of that later on, 2021. But the King of the Ring was created by, and largely created by, Pat Patterson. That's somebody that, if you know this name, you know who he is. He's a key figure in the WWE, in its entire history. He's a legendary wrestler. He's in the Hall of Fame. And he was instrumental in creating the King of the Ring, the Royal Rumble, like any big kind of event that the WWE puts on for entertainment purposes, all done usually through Pat Patterson.
Yep.
The inception of the idea was to have a tournament-style matches in which one wrestler is crowned the King of the Ring. And in the very first one, there were 14 matches on the card. 14 matches on the card. In 5, they didn't have it as a televised event. They used these as ways to get people into the door. These were house shows, and the first one was actually done in Foxborough. At the time, it wasn't called Gillette Stadium. It was called Sullivan Stadium.
Yep.
But it was in Foxborough. I'm actually really curious as where they had that. Like, did they pack the place? But it was in July. Yeah, for 14 matches on that card. Now, if you look into it, they were like, for real, it was a 3-hour event. They were there for a while. So like I said, they were non-televised events. They were just house shows trying to boost attendance as they toured around the country still at the time. And on July 8th, Don Muraco defeated the Iron Sheik, who we all know and love. Rest in peace, Sheiky Baby. In the very first one, to be crowned the King of the Ring. Now, a few notable wrestlers that were in this particular event. We had the Junkyard Dog, who I used to love when I was a kid. Steve Lombardi.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Lombardi Trophy, but the Brooklyn Brawler.
The Brooklyn Brawler.
He's the Brooklyn Brawler, yes. Also, Steve Lombardi.
Mm-hmm.
We had Bob Orton Jr., Randy's father. We had Pedro Morales, who was the third longest Intercontinental champion. Gunther passed him.
Yep.
Also, the first Hispanic Intercontinental champion, I believe.
Oh,
Don't quote me
okay.
on that, but I think he was. We had the Iron Sheik, Tito Santana, Terry Funk, Chainsaw Charlie, Ricky Steamboat, and Greg Valentine.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is where some fun stuff happens. These formats will continue on and off TV from 1986 to 86 to 89, where Harley Race, Randy Savage, Ted DiBiase, Tito Santana, they would win, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was no King of the Ring, so this is the first time where we didn't see a King of the Ring event. No King of the Ring in 1990, and as we go through the history of the King of the Ring, we'll see that that's actually kind of very common. Mm-hmm. There are not King of the Rings every year.
There are not.
There are not. So, in 1990, Bret Hart would win it back to back. Now, you would think 91, 92, but no. 91 and 90. There was no King of the Ring in 1992. This is also where the King of the Ring would kind of be identified as one of the big 5 pay-per-views at the time. SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series. I'm not even sure when that came about. This is around 93 is when it started to be considered one of the top 5.
Yep.
And in 1994... So we just had Bret Hart win back-to-back. In 94, Owen Hart won the King of the Ring.
The King of Hearts.
Yes, and who did he defeat? The bad guy, Razor Ramon. Pretty awesome. In 1995, we saw Mabel, who would later become Viscera with The Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness, defeat Savio Vega to win the tournament, which most people found to be an odd decision because Mabel was relatively inexperienced.
Yeah, Mabel never got a push from that, right?
And he never was really liked by the audience. But yeah, he was given a main event match at SummerSlam, and that match was not well received, as you can imagine. So he was given a main event match at SummerSlam, but it wasn't a title shot. Now, your accolade for, please quote me on that if I'm saying that word wrong. Accolade.
You got it.
Accolade for winning the King of the Ring is you're the King of the Ring. You just went through this gauntlet of all these wrestlers, and you are crowned for the year or years to come. You are the King of the Ring. So now we get into the meat and potatoes. Mm-hmm. Because
somebody smash a window right now. There you go.
Jake the Snake Roberts, who's working a story. Yes, dude, this is insane. It's absolutely insane that we have to go back and this iconic thing that we're going to talk about in a second. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, but the guy that he's fighting against is a veteran. The guy has been around forever, and he's working a storyline as a veteran on a comeback trail, with a focus on his battles with addiction and his renewed faith. Mm-hmm. He fought against Stone Cold Steve Austin. That guy. The guy that changed the face of wrestling as we know it. So Jake the Snake Roberts going up against Stone Cold Steve Austin. And so at this time, you still have to fight earlier matches at the pay-per-view to get to the final match. It's not just, all right, this is the finals of the King of the Ring. It's like, no, you have to go through the bracket still. You still have to do the gauntlet. And so earlier in the match, Jake the Snake was fighting against Vader and got his ribs all banged up.
Ooh.
But also, Stone Cold got a bloody lip in his match earlier and had to go to the hospital and get some stitches done on the inside of his mouth before this match. So, there's some real bangers happening. And so, Jake the Snake, he's been viewed as the underdog in this match, right? He's got a rib injury going into this match with Stone Cold, who doesn't have a visible injury. It's a lip, right? But it's stitched up. And WWF, and I say that because it was, WWF president at the time, Gorilla Monsoon, came to the ring during the match and offered Jake the Snake Roberts to stop the match due to his rib injury suffered in the previous match against Vader, as I said. Roberts regrouped and refused to forfeit his match. He's like, no, I'm gonna continue to fight. Mm-hmm. So he began attacking Stone Cold, and he went to go hit his DDT. So, back then we had simple finishers. It was nothing crazy, no big setup. Is he caught you, avoided this move, and began to focus on Jake the Snake's ribs. In the end of the match, Stone Cold hits a stunner for the win of the match, and he wins the King of the Ring tournament. Now, still, at this time, Stone Cold isn't this, big famous guy. He's not the Stone Cold that we know. He's a guy who came from WCW. He was in the Hollywood Blonde. He was stunning Steve Austin.
Stunning Steve Austin.
Stunning Steve Austin in WCW. He was the ringmaster with Ted DiBiase. He was just a mid-card dude.
Yeah.
He wasn't huge.
Remember Steve Austin with hair?
Yeah, it's beautiful blonde hair.
Beautiful blonde hair.
It actually kind of looked a lot like this.
Yeah,
for those of you who are watching. After winning the tournament, Stone Cold delivered a post-match promo that would become one of the most famous in wrestling history. He was targeting Jake the Snake's religious faith. And he said, you sit there and you thump your Bible and you say your prayers and it didn't get you anywhere. You talk about your Psalms. You talk about John 3:16. Well, Austin 3:16 says,
I just whooped your ass.
I just whooped your ass. And this legendary quote literally changes the face and the direction of the company forever. Because after that, we enter the Attitude Era where this defiant man just tears apart the company, and beats up his boss. Every American's dream, every human's dream, right? You just beat the crap out of your boss, right? So this one legendary quote. What's fantastic about that quote is it was completely improvised. It wasn't written, and the only thing that he was given was, hey, here's a list of things that Jake the Snake had said in his promo before. And again, Jake the Snake's refound faith, whatever. He says, okay, John 3:16's whatever. So Stone Cold, hearing this coming back from the hospital with his busted up lip, goes out there and delivers this line, only knowing a small piece of information of what's been given to him. So it's pretty cool.
And at this moment in the history of the WWF and WWE, right at that point, WCW was winning the Monday Night Wars. If I recall.
Monday Night Wars.
Yep. So at this moment,
Nitro.
This is the moment that really resonates to me as to how WWF was taking control of their own, of Monday nights. It wasn't right away, but that character, the Stone Cold Steve Austin character, and the delivery of that is iconic. And the fact that every wrestling fan should know that. Every wrestling fan should here's the thing. Growing up, Jake the Snake was one of my favorite wrestlers.
Loved him. I loved him.
And the DDT was a cool move.
I used to do it to my sisters.
Yeah, I mean it's still a cool move.
I didn't have brothers, and all my friends were bigger than me. So.
I mean, fucking Randy Orton does it, and we have to hear Vintage Orton every time he does it. Just
love Randy.
Yes, no offense there, but
what's cool is go ahead.
It's an iconic move, and it sucks that Jake the Snake had to wrestle with addiction and everything for even beyond there. He had demons and everything, and I'm very happy for him. I believe he's cleaned up and everything, and has been clean for a while. But he went through some tough year there. The turning point for the King of the Ring, I feel, right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And if again, this goes back. If it wasn't for Pat Patterson, who really started to realize that wrestling is wrestling, that's great, but how do we make this more entertaining, right? Which is where the fans are going to get invested. How do we get more fans invested? It's these micro tournaments like this. It's iconic promos like that,
Right. I think that one of the things that you've said in the past, and I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you on what you've been talking about, is that the Money in the Bank is basically a belt. And King of the Ring is basically a belt, in a sense, because you can then take on that persona. King and or Queen at this point, because they've now, they finally added the Queen portion to it and not just making it kind of an add-on to the King, but having the Queen of the Ring be an actual tournament in itself.
Well, when you have women who are headlining your events and their matches are graded higher than any of the men in the pay-per-view, you got to start recognizing that the women are equal partners now. Like, they're not just, divas.
Oh yeah, most
They're
definitely.
not.
I think that at times the women's matches are definitely better than the men's, and more interesting. Now, do you have anything else to add to your little historical?
To that?
To that, yeah.
Oh, Joe, we are just getting started.
We're just getting started.
That
Continue.
was 96.
96.
1997 through 2000, we would see some big names win the King of the Ring tournament, such as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He wasn't known really as Triple H yet. Ken Shamrock, legendary MMA fighter, legendary MMA.
Yep.
And then Billy Gunn, who was a member of the tag team, the New Age Outlaws in DX, which we, like most people saw as an odd decision that they made to give him the King of the Ring because he was in a tag team.
Right.
He was in DX. He was in, like, the biggest thing. So why give this guy a solo push? It was interesting choice.
And do you know who he beat? Who was the runner-up for that one?
I was it Bart Gunn? Was it his brother? Because that would have been
his
great.
brother. It was X-Pac.
Was it really? Was he
was.
the 1, 2, 3 king? Or no, he would have been Xbox then.
He was X-Pac
right?
at that point. Yep.
Damn. It's awesome.
Yep.
Well deserved.
Yes. The badass Billy Gunn, part of the New Age Outlaws with Road Dogg Jesse James.
The Road Dogg Jesse James. The badass Billy Gunn.
The New Age Outlaws.
If you ain't down with that, I got 2 words for you. Drink beer.
Drink beer. Yep.
Yeah, that's what they said. That was their saying. I didn't make that up. That's just like...
It was. My dad was like, "Don't do that."
I didn't know what it meant. I was going around telling my teachers to suck it. I'm like, suck it!
Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that every adult hated that period of life because every kid was just walking around just saying "suck it" to everything, and it was just like they're like, "Oh, God damn it!
Yep.
How many more years until I retire?" Anyways.
Kurt Angle would win the 2000 King of the Ring in Boston. Followed by Edge, and then in 2002 we had Brock Lesnar, which most people viewed that entire tournament was just a push for Brock Lesnar anyway.
Oh, most definitely.
This is early Brock Lesnar. Remember, we skip years, we do everything like that for this. So I figured it was just a big push for Brock Lesnar anyway. Now this is the first time. So like Mabel before that got a SummerSlam match, a main event match, but wasn't a title match. This is a main event match. This is the first time that a winner of the King of the Ring got a championship match at SummerSlam, and this SummerSlam it was against The Rock. And Brock Lesnar defeated The Rock at SummerSlam through the King of the Ring champion. Undisputed championship as well.
This was a different looking Brock Lesnar, too, at that point. This was
a different looking Rock as well.
Yeah, it was. Brock Lesnar did not have he was a bit puffier, I feel. bit younger looking.
Here, real quick, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't cut that out. Told you guys,
cutting.
episode 1. Get used to this.
Episode 1. Get used to it. Continue.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
The tournament would go away for 4 years until it returned after the brand split, in which it became a SmackDown exclusive event, which crowned King Booker and gave us his iconic version, although because he adopted a British accent, and some fans found this to be stereotypical. This is also the only time that the brand had a solo King of the Ring event. There was no Raw King of the Ring. It was only this one time there was a SmackDown King of the Ring event. Now, I don't care what you say about it, because was this the first time we had a queen?
I think this might have been the first time we had an actual, named queen. Mm-hmm.
So, he goes out, he does this whole King Booker thing. It's honestly fantastic. I loved it.
Oh, yes. King Booker was amazing.
Yeah. It was just so cool. It was just so cool.
It's very cool. So, go ahead. Keep on.
And then
going.
also, how are you going to get mad at somebody for doing a British accent? Boo-hoo.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
Oh, he's making fun of my people. Shut up. Shut up.
This is the same people that will make fun of every American ever. I'm sorry, but
Right.
this is the.
Why don't you guys get a train system? We're trying.
Yeah, Americans are too dumb to have socialized healthcare. Yeah, no shit. We're all fucking dealing with it.
Guess what? I could get in my car and drive in any direction, anywhere.
Yeah, right?
Okay? Whenever I want. 2 o'clock in the morning, getting in my car, I'm going to Jersey.
Yep.
1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to Maine. I can go wherever I want, any direction. I don't need public transportation, all right?
I don't need people
that.
to shit on us because we don't. I'm not shitting on them. Jesus.
Thanks, dinosaurs,
Yeah.
for this beautiful fuel. Can't wait to get an electric car, though. I'm just kidding. All right,
Yeah,
onwards.
same. I mean, you're still using dead dinosaurs at that point. But,
How cool is that, though?
right.
In 2008, remember, we got a lot of time jumps here. They don't do it all the time.
We do, right? So we've gone from 2006 to 2008.
Yeah. Good math. Good math. That's 4 plus 2 is 6. All right, 2008, The King of the Ring was held on a special episode of Raw. The tournament featured wrestlers from all 3 brands at the time, Raw, SmackDown, and ECW. And we had some interesting names in that King of the Ring. We had Chris Jericho from Raw, Matt Hardy from SmackDown, The Great Khali from SmackDown,
Oh, fuck.
Hornswoggle from SmackDown, and we also had Mr. Money in the Bank at the time, CM Punk.
What time is it?
It's Tiffy time. The final match, we see CM Punk versus William Regal.
Yep.
Now,
we
William Regal had a really easy walk to the finals because he had to defeat Hornswoggle. Now, he did have to actually have a really good semifinals match, and I forget who that was against. It was actually pretty impressive, but I was like, oh, shoot, he probably shouldn't have pulled that off. But yeah, he ended up going up against CM Punk. And it was a pretty interesting match because it was clean. It was a clean match, and William Regal defeats CM Punk by making him tap out.
Isn't that fucking insane to think about right now?
William Regal, the most, British guy.
If you were Drew McIntyre right now, wouldn't you bring that up at some point? Wouldn't he say, aren't you the guy that William Regal made tap out?
Yeah,
He say,
absolutely.
isn't that just, I'm not trying to shit on William Regal, but William Regal in 2008 was not,
Wasn't he the general manager in 2008? I don't
he
actually
was
know that.
he was probably older than I am right now. Have you ever seen
Go ahead.
as a tangent? Have you ever seen William Regal's original him coming out to his original song in modern day?
I don't.
He
go back,
had to
but
stop and laugh because it was he's a man. It's it is
dude, memory unlocked. I forgot all about that.
Oh man.
Oh
and
my God.
He almost died laughing when he came out and they started playing that. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
I'm the tangent today.
Fit Finlay. He defeated Fit Finlay in the semifinals to make it to the final.
Yep.
Which dude, Fit Finlay was a dude.
Yeah.
He was a for real
dude.
guy. I'm not talking shit to that guy in a dark alley.
Oh no.
The King of the Ring would return in 2010 with Sheamus winning the tournament against John Morrison. Now, I always thought John Morrison was a great wrestler. It's a bummer that he had to go away, but it was super fitting for Sheamus to win this. Also, he kind of adorned this sick crown. Almost looked like Loki's crown.
Yeah.
Right? It had horns, but they were small, and he wore these green robes. Why wouldn't he? He's the Celtic warrior,
Yeah.
It's fitting that Sheamus won that at the time.
Yes.
The King of the Ring would disappear for a few years and return in 2015. So it's been 5 years. Yeah.
5 years.
Big jumps. Where bad news Wade Barrett would win. And this was the first time that the pay-per-view was live streamed on the WWE Network. So remember, before it was on Peacock, they tried to do their own network.
They did.
Yeah, and he defeated...
I actually subscribed to it.
I did too.
Yep. Same.
He defeated Neville.
We tried.
Who, was...
I remember Neville.
Yeah, I remember Neville.
Yep.
I remember him.
He was good. He was good. They didn't do anything with him, and he walked.
Kind of reminds me of Malachi Black a little bit, It kind of gives me that little long hair, kind of edgy vibe. That's all I got for that.
He's a smaller wrestler. He's good in ring, and I think that they messed up with Neville.
Yeah.
I think
wonder if I can't remember if he was. I didn't watch a lot.
Remember,
of it,
these were the years that were kind of ooh.
Yeah. Well, they also had like 205 Live, which is like the lightweight division. I kind of feel like he fit in that mold a little bit. I'm not sure if he's on it. So please don't attack us with that. Mm-hmm. These are things that we don't know. We're learning too.
We are.
Blah, 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 blah.
Take a break.
Yeah. And so now, a few more years off. It's 2019 now, and we see Baron Corbin,
who just rejoined,
who just came back, which is I'm pumped to have him back.
Who was he drafted by? He was
drafted by. He's on Raw, right?
He's on Raw, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, he had a match this past Monday.
Yeah, he just had it. Yeah, so he wins, and he defeats Chad Gable, and then we get this iconic character out of him. We get King Corbin, which was phenomenal. The guy's coming down to the ring in a wife beater, a crown, and a scepter. Like, the dude was the man. He was like, the American dream. Like, I loved it. I really did.
If you're going to rip on America, England, rip on us for that.
Yeah, come on. I am really excited to have him back on the main roster. I think he did some pretty good stuff down in NXT. I think he deserves to be back on the main roster, even if this is like a final push. I don't know. I've never disliked him.
I think that...
Oh, go ahead.
No, I agree with you on that one.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And then... another few years away, we come back, and it's 2021. And we would see Xavier Woods win the championship, defeating Finn Balor. Mm-hmm. This is also the first year where we get a queen. That was called the Queen's Crown back then. And we had Zelina Vega win the Queen's Crown. That was in Saudi Arabia. So, for one thing, you had a big women's match in Saudi Arabia. I guess good on you for trying to be progressive. But the big problem with the entire Queen's Crown tournament was the average match length of any of the matches was 2.5 minutes. The entire Queen's Crown tournament was like 14 minutes long. The entire tournament was like, if you could watch it in one YouTube video. So it sucked.
I think at one point we have to discuss the issue that I have with these sports, and I'll say WWE is a sport at the moment. Having these sports in Saudi Arabia.
We could do a whole thing on.
We could do a YouTube channel on that. The thing is that they have so much money to throw at these athletic events, and the companies are more than willing to take the money, but you're kind of selling it. Like whenever they have an event in Saudi Arabia, there is a clear difference in what the women are wearing.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's embarrassing. It's because the thing.
Well, I think the first year they weren't even allowed to have any of the women competing.
Right. And, you're saying that, the entirety of the tournament was 14 minutes. I mean, come on. That's not even a match on Raw now. Yeah. That's a squash match on Raw.
So, Xavier Woods wins the championship, defeating Finn Balor. He is now the king of the ring, and boy, does the New Day really lean into that. He is King Xavier, and he does a British accent too, and no one bats an eye at that because it is fantastic to make fun of the British. And it's great. Chip chip cheerio, we're gonna get banned in Britain, whatever. It's fantastic. They love it. Which brings me to my final thing to say, well, maybe final two, is Xavier Woods still the king of the ring? It's been 3 years, and we haven't had another tournament. Is Xavier Woods still the king of the ring? Because I would still be leaning hard into that. He has mentioned it a few times, how he was the last king of the ring, and I was like, I racked my brain, because it wasn't until I started doing this research until I realized how many gaps in between that there really were. Like, I seriously thought it was an annual event, and I'm like, wait, it's been 4 years. Wait, it's been 5 years? Well, they didn't do one for 10 years? Okay, I didn't know that, so I was doing this. But is he still the king of the ring?
So,
I'd say yes.
I propose to you, you are king of the ring.
I say yes. You propose to me.
That's fine.
I do.
Okay, and then I will say you are king of the ring until you stop using that persona.
That's fair.
Because the thing is that, like, if you're no longer King Woods, or King Xavier or whatnot, if you're not coming out to that, if you're not playing it up, you're no longer king of the ring. Because the thing is that the way
you should be
look at
usurped. If you are no longer playing up that role, somebody should usurp you.
Well, this is the problem with having
that would be cool.
Without having so going to who was it?
Like, how sick would it be if Finn
Corbin.
Balor just started going,
okay.
No, I'm the king of the ring now. I usurp you.
So, King Corbin, lost to Shinsuke Nakamura, who took his crown.
That's right.
And then referred to himself as the King of Strong Style, right? So that's the thing. Because look at how Shinsuke is marketed.
When he started referring to himself as the King of Strong Style?
I believe so. I believe that's when he got
Because that's pretty rad.
Yeah. So the thing is that, like, going into... Because he's on SmackDown now, and he cut a promo, right? He's on SmackDown. Yeah, he's on SmackDown now. He cut a promo, and he didn't refer to himself as the King of Strong Style. I can't remember what word he used, but he said of Strong Style. It was like the master of Strong Style. Forgive me for not knowing this off the top of my head, but
How dare you, Joe? How dare you?
I remember hearing this on Friday, or I watched it on Saturday, because family. And I remember being like, no longer the King of Strong Style? So, in my opinion, he's now relinquished that King title. And you know what? It's during the King of the Ring tournament.
Pretty cool thing is, fun fact, is Triple H defeated Mankind, I believe, in the King of the Ring, and then it was Triple H, and because it was him and Mankind, and China hits him with the scepter, bam, knocks him out, they roll him into the ring, he pedigrees him, pins him. I'm sure fun stuff happens in between.
Right.
He takes the King's crown and just beats the crap out of Mankind with the crown, damaging the crown. So I think he's the only person who doesn't take the crown because he uses it as a weapon.
The King of Kings used the crown as a weapon.
How kingly of him.
Yes.
One more fun fact, Joe, and this one is going to blow your mind.
I'm excited now.
Yes, as you should be. Sit down. The King of the Ring has never been held on the West Coast. It's only ever been as far as Arizona. It got close. It's got close, but it's never been on the West Coast. It's never been to California.
Water there.
Yep.
There's no water there.
It's been to Saudi Arabia before it's been to California. It's been to Ohio. It's also been to Tennessee. I kind of like Tennessee. But
Ohio,
they did it a lot up in the Northeast. They did it a lot on the East Coast. When you think about like how the original, territories and stuff work, I think it might make a little bit of sense for where like how it kind of kept happening. But for it to never have made it to California kind of surprises me.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it made it to Arizona.
Cardinals.
So many Cardinals in Arizona.
So many Cardinals. So many
priests and Catholics and
are there?
Bishop. Well, yeah, because they're Cardinals. The Pope loves Cardinals.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, well played. Thank you, Justin, for the history of the King of the Ring. This was awesome, giving us kind of overview and everything. So let's shift our focus to the current King and Queen of the Ring tournament right now. And One thing I'm going to criticize the tournament for is that not all the matches are televised.
That is, yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy. So part of me, and I appreciate your critique, right? It's kind of cool that they're starting to do these King of the Ring house shows, or these matches at house shows, which is kind of how it originally started. That's cool. But I think because they're starting to do the WWE speed matches, and they're putting them on Twitter, I think they should be doing them like that as well. But it's kind of cool to give house shows. There's a reson to go to a house show now.
There was always a reason to go to a house show because it's a house show.
And you might see,
fun.
You also might see matches you would never normally see. So
exactly.
But yeah, it is weird that you're like starting to watch it like, oh yeah, over the weekend, blah blah blah, beat blah blah blah. You're like, okay, all right. It doesn't ruin my day, but it might have been cool to see. Show me some highlights from the house show because they do that sometimes.
Right. And the thing is that they are doing that. They're showing the endings and stuff like that, but it's so you had LA Knight beat Santos Escobar at a house show for LA Knight to move on in the tournament. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's horseshit that LA Knight,
it's almost like he gets buried right there, right?
Is getting buried into that house show. And to his credit, he says, I have no problem with it. This is how we wrestle and everything. But at the same time, I'm just like, he won? Cool.
Would have been nice to see.
And you know who else? You know who else won in a house show?
I don't. Tiffy? Oh. Tiffy? Tiffy, no TV time?
I'm sorry, but she is both of these wrestlers that I just mentioned, LA Knight and Tiffany Stratton, are two big names that are not holding a belt right now. And
Tiffany, you can say soon, right?
Yes.
Soon she will, but
she has to. They have to. If they don't, they're wasting her character. Because she's going to be the perfect heel champion. Hell
yeah. And I'm gonna boo her ass till the fucking cows come home.
I'm not booing her. I'm gonna cheer for her. I'm cheering for her.
Black shirt with a thumbs down. It says Tiffany Stratton's the worst. But secretly, underneath this black shirt, there's gonna be a pink shirt that says I love Tiffany Stratton.
It's Tiffy time.
It's Tiffy time. It's gonna be a Rolex watch in all pink.
So here's the thing. She goes from being in a women's championship match, 3-way championship, to being in a house show for her to move up in the tournament. No, I'm sorry, WWE. Fucking fix this.
It's interesting though. So there was a lot of complaints with the formatting of with the format of the King of the Ring. How they went from a house show, how they went to televised, how they would go back to house shows, and then there was also a lot of complaints. They would do some matches at house shows, like we're seeing now, and then they would do only 2 matches at the King of the Ring at the pay-per-view. They've kind of always played around with how the format is. I think, and don't quote me on this, I forget which one it was where it might have been 2002. Brock Lesnar might not have been, where they actually only had him. The final match was the only one on the pay-per-view, while everything else was before. So it's they've always kind of played around with it. I don't remember what year it was where they had the whole card, but I do think that they should go back to, this is the tournament pay-per-view. It's not building up to the pay-per-view. This is a tournament at the pay-per-view. Give me 14 matches, you cowards.
I agree. Here's the thing.
And put it in France so they could cheer the entire time.
Yeah, I know. Fuck you guys. Cheer through 14 fucking matches for each gender.
It's going to be amazing. And they will, because I don't know.
They will.
Maybe I'm coming around. I had 2 weeks to sit on it and think about if I enjoyed it or not. I don't know yet.
I think it was fine. I think that the thing is that, it comes across as being very hardo, though, to me, a little bit.
Good for them.
I thought it was cool that they were so into it. But
let's stay on course.
Yeah, sorry. Anyways,
it's all right.
So King and Queen of the Ring. So we have our current what are they, brackets?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at. So I'm going to start with the King of the Ring. That's the one that I'll start with. I envision Gunther from Raw and LA Knight from SmackDown
As finals on that side of the bracket?
as the finals, yes.
So you know what was really interesting, and I think they kind of, you could go around and say, oh, I think they blew it.
Yep.
They had Ilya Dragunov, who has defeated Gunther,
Right.
and there was a possibility of them meeting up and kind of redoing that.
Yep.
That could have been so sick. But we know what they're doing with Gunther.
To be honest, you can't push Ilya past Jey Uso right now.
So hype.
To be honest, like, I think that Jey is the most popular person in the entire company.
That is without a question as well. If you disagree,
Yes.
you are wrong. And I think there might be a lot of pushback, but you're wrong. You're
wrong.
He's so over.
Yeah, he is the most over in this entire company. He's more popular than Cody, I believe, in my opinion. Not with kids, but just in overall popularity. Kids love Cody. Kids are, kids have... The way kids look at Cody now is the way...
Thank God Cody's not looking at kids the same way the kids are looking at him. Am I right? Am I right?
I muted my mic for a
I
second.
don't mute for nothing. My laughter is hilarious.
So that was fantastic. So I feel like kids of today look at Cody the way like kids of our generation looked at like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And which will make for the great heel turn that he's going to make. Topics to be discussed later.
Yes.
But like I think Jey Uso is too big to let Ilya Dragunov go by him. I'm not like, here's the thing. I don't mind Ilya Dragunov, but I also don't want these NXT stars to suddenly just fucking fly through.
I want them to succeed, but you don't want them. Yeah, I want them to succeed, but I don't want them to do it just because they got drafted up.
Yeah, if he beat Jey Uso, I'd be like, what are you doing with Jey? Like, what is his story right now other than yeet?
So right now, on that side of the bracket, we have Gunther versus Jey.
Yes.
Now, whichever way you want to go with that, I'm in for. If Gunther beats Jey, that means that you've got a good storyline for Gunther lined up. Like, he is actually going for a top belt.
Yes.
Hell yeah, I'm in. If Jey wins, I'm thinking, okay, I really think that this is how we're going to establish it. Like, I'll talk about this all the time. I'm not a conspiracy theorist when it comes to wrestling, but they're building Jey up to be the next tribal chief. And I think if Jey wins... If Jey wins the whole thing, yeah, that's where we're going with it. I think he doesn't have a deep enough arsenal to his wrestling arsenal. I think Gunther mollywops him.
I think that Gunther is so a little bit of a prediction here. I think that Gunther is king of the ring, king of the ring.
Hell yeah!
I think that he's. I don't think anybody in SmackDown is going to be. I think. It's either going to be LA Knight or Randy Orton from SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's LA Knight, give my guy something. Give my guy the U.S. title. Why are you going to put that on Cody?
Oh, dude, that would be so good. Give LA Knight the U.S. title. Get it off of Logan Paul.
Get off
That's
Logan.
I love that.
But the problem is that Cody's going to win it at King of the Ring.
Well, it's not a two-directional belt.
It is.
I thought it was only if Cody loses.
So Cody is going to. So the match between Logan and Cody is for each of their belts. Cody wins. Cody's also U.S. champion.
He's like collecting stones. He's Thanos over here. Oh Jesus!
That's why,
Christ.
like I said, what am I saying? Heel turn, my friends. Anyways.
Does he have the character work to do it? We'll talk about that in another episode.
Yeah, another episode. This is that's for another Wednesday night episode of Move Those Belts.
Yeah. But that's where I'm at right now. I do predict Gunther winning the whole thing as well.
I do too.
I think it makes the most sense.
I don't think you give it to Randy Orton. I don't think you give it to LA Knight. Unfortunately.
Or do we see a Jey Uso versus Tama Tonga in the... God, please don't. Please don't.
Give me a...
It's okay. We won't get to that point.
No, we're not. That's not happening. So we don't have to worry about it.
It's not happening.
It's not going to happen. So let's
Hey there,
rotate
cousin.
let's rotate to the Queen of the Ring, okay?
All right.
So we have the Queen of the Ring. So far we have so Io Sky is currently going up against Lyra Valkyria.
Who has been awesome with her little involvement with Becky Lynch.
Yes, I think that this is another the case of a star given a push from NXT, and I think that so it's going to be Io versus her. I mean,
It's tough.
this one I'm actually ambivalent on. I'm not sure because my mind immediately goes, "Oh, Io," but I don't know what they want to do with Io Sky.
Right.
You know,
I
are
also,
they?
yeah, I always thought she was teetering on the good girl, bad girl thing, but I don't know.
I think it's just because she doesn't like her reactions are so off on things
Right.
that we don't know what she's thinking. Because it's like you can watch Io Sky making any reaction and it's like those were 50 different reactions and I have no idea if she's happy or sad.
Sometimes she looks around confused, like, how did they
Yeah,
get here?
right.
How did they get here?
But that match between Io and Shayna was a fucking banger.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
5-star match. I don't give a shit what Dave Meltzer says. He can go fuck himself.
I put very few notes into my
Yeah.
review of that match. All I wrote was banger.
Yep.
Banger.
Because it's just
We got spoiled. We got spoiled Monday night.
that Monday night, this past Monday Night Raw was a great Raw. And I was passing out by the end, but it was mostly because I was exhausted from the night before. But I was like doing jumping jacks because the matches were so good. There were some snoozers, but overall, the entire night was just keep on watching. Just watch. You know, just keep going.
Gunther versus Kofi Kingston?
Oh my God,
Not to
great
switch away
match,
from
banger.
the women, but banger.
Banger.
Right. Wrote it down.
Yep. So, anyways,
As far as the women go,
you know what? I'm gonna go with Lyra beats Io. I'm gonna say
Really? To get out of-
to represent Raw. I think that she has that strong of a push from the company at the moment because I think that they really liked her in NXT that much.
If she beat Zoe Stark, dude, and Io beat
Yeah.
Shayna Baszler, like, are
Yeah.
you kidding me? Yeah, I could see. I see
to be
Valkyria
honest,
going out because you already have Dakota Kai who went out.
Yeah.
I see her going
don't-
out. I see Valkyria winning it too.
Yeah, I think that she wins from Raw. I don't think she wins the entire thing because on the other side, so we still
We
have to
Jade Cargill,
so we have
Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, Bianca.
So we're gonna have this Friday we have to have Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton versus Bianca. And I think, and I'm not gonna lie, I hate this, but we're gonna have Jade versus Bianca.
I think I wrote that in my notes. I think it's Jade versus Bianca.
And I think this is lazy story writing. I think this is lazy.
Well, they're the tag team champions, so I think this is how
Yeah.
like you built them up to be. I don't know. I think we already know that Jade could probably beat Nia, and that's kind of cool to push her forward. Then Tiffany, I think, deserves to go forwards. So there's a redemption there for Jade if Tiffany beats Belair. But I think we see like the two girls are too similar. And I think they
Right.
realize it in this match, and then it kind of creates some sort of envy, and that's how they separate. And then maybe one of them goes heel. I think there's some cool storytelling to be told if they both go through.
So my thought is that this is their chance to turn Bianca heel.
Move her into the Pride with Bobby,
Yeah.
but they're on no.
But
just kidding.
they're not heels.
Well,
I
what
think
are
that
they?
this is they aren't. You can't make Bobby
You
Lashley
can't make
a
Bobby.
heel.
We tried.
No, we tried. You know, they had to stop it, like because they had to introduce Karrion Kross's thing. And anyways, then somehow we keep on seeing Authors of Pain. Anyways, yeah, I think that you'll have Bianca versus Jade, and I think you're gonna see Jade win.
So you think we'll see Jade versus Valkyria?
Yeah. And I think Jade is Queen of the Ring.
Dominates.
Yeah.
I think Jade's Queen of the Ring. I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that...
New blood.
Yep. Because they've been building up Jade for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think this is the payoff here. Because the tag belts don't hold as much weight.
Not right now. Hell no.
No. Because they didn't... They weakened the tag belts as much as they... they came out before the challengers. It's like, were they that easy to stomp? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Come on. Be better than that. I know I'm coming off sour on that, but it's like, I don't mind that, the Kabuki Warriors lost. I mind that they fucked up. You don't send out the champions before the challengers.
So weird. So weird.
Anyways, because I knew they would lose, and I thought they should lose. I've been saying that the Kabuki Warriors shouldn't be the champions right now. Anyways, okay, so we have Jade being queen, and we have Gunther being king.
And we're both in agreement on that. Which I mean, if I know anything about wrestling, it's that me and you know, we're right 100% of the time.
We are right all the time.
Yeah.
This is one. Lock it in.
Yeah.
Find that weird sports book that will give you that bet.
The Farmer's Almanac of Wrestling.
Yes. Put that bet in. You will get so much money. Tens of dollars.
Oh, you're so rich now.
You're going to be so rich. But yeah, so I think that's the current tournament. Listen, people can criticize the tournament. There are injuries. Injuries are part of anything. If you watch sport of any kind, injuries are a part of the game. And in WWE, it's no different. That's why we're not seeing Seth Rollins. That's why we haven't seen CM Punk wrestle. That's why we're not seeing Drew McIntyre wrestle. And it's why Asuka's gone. It's why Zelina Vega's gone.
She's injured.
Yeah, these are all injured people.
Oh, that's right. They're all injured. Yeah,
they're all injured, and they need time to rest and recoup, and get back to where they need to be to wrestle. So
I think we're there.
I think that's it. Do we have anything to add to this?
I don't. That was a fun one. A little, I was a little stressed out doing my research, but that was a fun one.
I think you did a phenomenal job of giving us the history of the King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring.
Correct.
And this was a fun dive.
I'm glad I had one. I'm glad I had an episode. I am a contributing member of this team. It's just
you
not
are.
Always.
You are amazing. I'm telling you, my friend.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. So, let's wrap this up.
Heck yeah.
So, Justin.
Yes.
Do you have anything you want to add to this?
Sorry that we don't get to push out content as often as we want. It turns out that trying to run a podcast while trying to run a company and trying to run your own life and trying to maintain your mental health is complicated. So we don't get to put them out as often as we want. So, we've realized that maybe don't expect a recap of Raw and a recap of SmackDown every week. But we'll try and definitely hit you with the fun stuff as often as we can. So, big PLE coming up. We're going to fill you in on that. Yeah, that's where we're at. That's all I gotta say about that. You don't like it.
Suck it.
Peace off, governor. Great, canceled.
Yeah, great, canceled in the UK. We're like the Sex Pistols now. No, so I completely agree. I think that these are much more entertaining episodes because we're able to give you a bit more information about what's going on and give you a history lesson in a sense too. And I prefer this. This is
This is fun.
It's a much more relaxed discussion where it's not like, okay, we got to hit this, we got to hit this, we got to hit this. We don't have to hit anything in these. We just need to talk.
Yeah.
And we're able to.
What about you, Joe? You got anything you want to add?
I mean, I'm just living my best life and
the American
being
dream.
a dad of 3. Yeah, I'm like...
It sounds like you are, Cody. You're the American nightmare. What the fuck?
I'm the American nightmare.
He's living the American nightmare, rather.
Yeah, I know. 3 kids. Before this podcast happened, I had to check on my children like 5 times to make sure they were staying in bed.
Are they still in your closet under the stairs?
Jeez,
are their chains secured?
I gave you crackers, and
Go
throws
to
another
bed.
sleeve of Ritz at them and just walk. No, my kids just my son was in the living room just standing there. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, go to bed. Runs to bed. And that's life, That's life. You can find us on social media, on all popular social media, at Move Those Belts. You can find our podcasts on YouTube and Spotify.
And Twitch.
And Twitch, right? Follow us on Twitch. See us uncut on Twitch.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, right?
A lot of
this
laughter.
is where you get the best reactions. This is where you get the best interactions. So, anyways, my name is Joe.
My name is Justin. I was going to do my own name on that one.
I know, right?
Right?
Hang on. Let's do that again. My name is Joe.
My name is Justin.
And until next time.
Bye-bye.